à la gauche chaise, R1 Roger-Vasselin.
Roger-Vasselin, a big round of applause for him. The blue shirt. Matt Brown with you for this match. Earlier today we saw a pretty convincing win, 6-2, 6-love for Lucy Safarova of the Czech Republic, the 20th seed, over Anastasia Yakimova of Belarus. Sam Stosur as well, out on court. Philippe Chartrier advancing pretty comfortably over Elena Baltasha, 6-4, 6-love. A couple of results already in the women's draw here at Roland Garros today. Looking at these two players, first of all, Pospisil of Canada, current ranking of 102 in the world. He ended last year ranked 119. So making steady progress. Just a youngster, coached by Frederick Niemeyer. He was playing in just his second Grand Slam after reaching the second round at the US Open last year. Well, Edouard Roger-Vasselin, current ranking of 83. Ended last year ranked 106 in the world. His father reached the semi-finals here in 1983, beating Jimmy Connors in the quarterfinals before losing to Yannick Noah.
Premier manche, service Pospisil.
So the Canadian then to get this match underway. Conditions perfect today. It's a warm 26 degrees in Paris. Well, the first shot of anger from the young Frenchman, rifling that backhand down the line. So early troubles on serve for the Canadian Pospisil. What an occasion for him, playing a French opponent. Everything against him. The crowd right behind Roger-Vasselin.
Let's second service. 15-40.
So 2 break points in the opening game here for R1 Roger-Vasselin. Now the forehand error from the Canadian, and there is the first break of serve in the very first game, and it goes the way of the local French player, one of 17 in the main draw here at Roland Garros. Reasonably light schedule on the opening day. Of course, this is the only Grand Slam that starts on the Sunday with main draw action, and the other 3 will start on Monday. So Roger-Vasselin then to try and consolidate the early break of serve.
Le premier service.
So, Pospisil looking to break straight back. Roger-Vasselin, early trouble on serve here at love 30. That's a better serve though, right down the tee. Been asked a number of times already, you know, who is going to win this tournament, men and women. Men's draw reasonably clear cut, with Rafa Nadal being an overwhelming favourite. And want to win this title for the 7th time, surpassing Bjorn Borg with 6. And really, his form on clay, aside from Madrid, of course, with the controversial blue clay, very different surface playing conditions to what he had in Rome, beating Novak Djokovic last week. Nadal, without a doubt, the favourite to defend his title here. Now the variation from the young Frenchman brings up game point for 2-love. Well behind the baseline, and a good approach play by Vasselin. So from love 30 to hold for 2-love. The women's draw here at Roland Garros, I think far more open. American Serena Williams, though, has a very, very good chance of winning this title for the 2nd time. She has been in great form on clay, hasn't lost a match on the surface, the European red clay this season, and full of confidence, as is Maria Sharapova, the 2nd seed, who will be backing herself to, you know, break through on the surface. Pospisil, of course, living in the shadow of young Milos Raonic, who's really created a name for himself in Canada. Canadian #1, entrenched in the top 20 now. big server and a dark horse for this title. Okay. Raonic and Nadal in the 4th round could be an absolute blockbuster if those two players get there. Well, that's a much better serving game from Pospisil. And he is on the board here in the opening set, but it's R1 Roger-Vasselin leading 2-1. I'm just looking at the form of Vasek Pospisil so far this year. Played a number of qualifying events. Qualified in Chennai, lost first round. In the Australian Open qualies, he lost second round. Hasn't had too many wins. In the Indian Wells qualifying, he won a round and then lost second round of qualifying. His success came in a challenger in Canada, where he won a tournament back in March. So he'll be up against it today against the French Hope, who has a break in the first set. And it's R1 Roger-Vasselin to serve it 2-1. Some big serving from Roger-Vasselin. Last serve 193 kilometres per hour. That's a comfortable hold too, and so important when you've got that early break to consolidate it. He does so.
Let's premier service.
Support.
Oh! 0-15.
Well, Roger-Vasselin reading the serve extremely well of Pospisil at the moment. And the Canadian up against it. So these two have never played each other at ATP World Tour level, Grand Slam or Davis Cup, but they have played in challenger tournaments. In fact, Wimbledon qualifying last year, Roger-Vasselin defeated Vasek Pospisil 6-4, 7-5. Player of the match so far, showing deft touches at the net.
15-30.
Really working the point well. R1 Roger-Vasselin, and it's a lovely little drop shot to finish. Yes, in the earlier match, also last year, Valencia in Spain, qualies, was on hard court in a challenger tournament. Pospisil winning 7-6, 6-4.
Konter.
And this is an important game for Vasek Pospisil, down 1-3. Big point here, a swing point at 30 all. R1 Roger-Vasselin really at home, and literally he lives down the road from Roland Garros, Boulogne-Billancourt, which is the suburb right here on the other side of the Bois de Boulogne. Probably walks to the tennis. With the right idea, I think trying to serve and volley. He does have a big serve. Pospisil. Like that. To hold. In fact, that game point, I should say, it was deuce. The mistake on the drop volley. That one, 205 kilometres per hour. That's pretty quick. And miles per hour, around about 130. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong there. He does hold, but it is still Roger-Vasselin who has a break in the first set and leads 3-2. Roger-Vasselin made his Grand Slam debut here at Roland Garros as a wild card in 2007. He reached the third round, feeding Radek Stepanek 5 sets in his first ever 5-set match. Hasn't had any success though. Remarkable, really. Hasn't qualified at any of the other majors. And this year, he's had some reasonable success, winning a couple of rounds in Marseille, losing in the quarterfinals to his countryman in the 6th seed here, Joe Wilfried Tsonga. That is his best result so far in 2012. And he's coming up to serve now is R1 Roger-Vasselin. His dad, Christophe, a semi-finalist here at Roland Garros in 1983. A little bit of pressure on the Frenchman, and the crowd making him realise it too. Love 30. A couple of unforced errors, and the match can change so quickly. I like the aggression from Roger-Vasselin as he looks to get to the net, set up by that lovely topspin forehand, short backswing, and had Pospisil stretching.
That was a better drop shot, but again, the speed of the Italian took away all the advantage from Manarino. Did very well to get the net.
Let's. Second service.
Using the ability to slide on play. Very controlled shot, great skill from the Italian.
Well, a double fault brings up breakback points for Vasek Pospisil. Well, terrific court coverage from Pospisil. He does break back. Showing some real speed and lethal stroke making. Back on serve again at 3-all. Well, these two youngsters are playing an entertaining match here. Pospisil just 21, but Vasselin not so young. He's 28. And the Canadian growing in confidence. The inside-out forehand winner. 4 matches on court number 2 today. Yeah, after this is a match between Gilles Muller of Luxembourg and Igor Sisling of the Netherlands, and then the young French player Caroline Garcia up against Dina Feismeyer from Germany. Well, after just breaking back to Vasek Pospisil will be very, very keen here to hold on and edge in front in this match. Well, set up with that serve out wide to... We'll see it again, out to the backhand, and a very short return, easily dealt with.
42-30.
R1 Roger-Vasselin, coached currently by Gregory Carrez, former ATP player.
So we look at some highlights.
Into the open court, and Pospisil holds serve, and he rallies from 3-1 down to now lead 4-3 in the opening set. Vasek Pospisil currently ranked 102 in the world, just outside the top 100. His career high ranking earlier this year in April, 95. So a good run here. We'll see him surpass that. And R1 Roger-Vasselin, current ranked 83. His career high was 78. So it was also achieved earlier this year in April. Career prize money of $1,175,000 for R1 Roger-Vasselin and for Vasek Pospisil. So making his way out on tour. Hasn't really earned too much as yet. This is just his second Grand Slam. What an occasion for Vasek Pospisil of Canada. I won't say it's a hostile French crowd, but it certainly is encouraging their man. Really, the French players grow an extra leg when they play at Roland Garros. 17 Frenchmen in the main draw here. The most of any country. Of course, a number of those players given wild cards. So the hint of an opening here for Vasek Pospisil. He was 3-1 down. He now leads 4-3 and 15-30. A big point here. Terrific play. We've seen that 2 or 3 times now from Roger-Vasselin. Disguises the drop shot well, leaves it late. And Pospisil too slow to react. Follows it up with an unforced error, bringing up a break point here for the Canadian. Should have dealt with that short ball. And that's better stuff from the Frenchman. Lovely serve. And again, although I think Pospisil thinks it was wide, he's having a look at the mark, but no query. So a game point here for 4-all. This match has really had a couple of momentum swings already. Only midway through the first set. Now a real mixed bag in this game from R1 Roger-Vasselin. That's his third double fault now in the match. Shaping as a pivotal game in this opening set.
Avantage Roger-Vasselin.
And that is the break. Tough overhead for Javola, just set up nicely.
Batte premier service.
Tricky ball. Well, doing the right thing, putting it deep into the court, but yeah, position.
Égalité.
A little bit late into position for that backhand. Roger-Vasselin. So a real battle here, the longest game so far of the match. The Frenchman, the crowd really getting into it. Already on day one, good crowds throughout the grounds here at Roland Garros. Beautiful day for tennis, temperature in the mid-20s.
Batte premier
That's
service.
Celsius, so high 70s, early 80s Fahrenheit today.
Produced 4 world-beating players, the 4 Musketeers. Many Lacoste wearing on your shirts. Others were Henri Cochet, founding easily put away again. The doubles expert. He teamed up with Roger at the winning the Davis.
Avantage Roger-Vasselin.
I mentioned earlier that, you know, this tournament is the only one of the 4 slams that starts on a Sunday. Usually a reasonably light schedule, although a number of big names in action later today for American fans watching this telecast back home. Venus Williams playing her opening match. She's on the centre court. Philippe Chatrier. And Andy Roddick, last match of the day on court. Suzanne Longlong up against the French hope Nicolas Mahut. I'll take that, says Vasek Pospisil. And so we go to yet another deuce. 4 now in this 8th game.
About to start a first round singles.
Avantage Pospisil.
Sweeping forehand cross-court winner for the Canadian, and he now has a second break point of this game. Well, Pospisil scrambles, but Roger-Vasselin holds his nerve and saves another break point. The first volley was good. And it sets up the easy put away.
Avantage, Roger-Vasselin.
Six of the 17 Frenchmen in the field in action on day one. We've already seen Adrian Manarino bow out, but of course they're led by Joe Wilfried Songa, the 5th seed here at Roland Garros, bidding to become the first homegrown champ since Yannick Noah back in 1983. Another unforced error from the French player, and he's really struggling to hold serve in what is shaping as the decisive game in this set. 6 deuces now.
Avantage, Pospisil.
So break point number 3 of this game with the forehand going wide. And good depth again from Pospisil, just making Edouard Roger-Vasselin play an extra ball. Oh, that's a magnificent drop shot. What a time to play it. It shows the confidence he has, though. With that shot, we've seen it part of his repertoire today 4 or 5 times now. Off the return of serve, he disguises it well, and Pospisil, I don't think, no matter how quickly he reacted to that, was going to get there. And see it again. He's backing himself, digging out of a hole again.
Avantage, Pospisil.
So another double fault, and what a crucial time. He converts the forehand winner. Vasek Pospisil now in command, in charge of this opening set. From 1-5 down, he now leads by 5 games to 3 and is serving for the first set. Now, patience, a big thing on a clay court. Got to really work your way into a point at times, and Roger-Vasselin just a little bit over anxious to finish the point, and it's proven costly as Pospisil now serves for the first set. Lovely serving down the tee from Vasek Pospisil, and the Canadian 2 points away from the first set. Oh, it's just clipped the line. I think it looks wide. And we'll have another look at it. Oh, that looks wide. So it won't be overruled, though. And 3 set points for Vasek Pospisil of Canada. And he's been serving well, serving at 87% first serves. That's a terrific percentage. 21 of 24 serves have gone in this set. Still 2 set points for Vasek Pospisil. Being more aggressive, and you have to be when you're 5-3 down, and saves during a couple of set points. That's a set up by the backhand return and a short ball, easily dealt with the forehand for Roger-Vasselin. Still a set point though at 40-30. Well, that forehand's been working well today, and virtually a clean winner to start the first set. 6-3. Vasek Pospisil takes the first set over Edouard Roger-Vasselin. So let's take a look at some of the highlights of that first set. The drop shots working well early on for Roger-Vasselin. Really mesmerising his opponent, but it all turned to custard for him. Showing an ability early on to get to the net, making the volley. That was one of the better points. But in the end, the winners, and their real aggression. A few more unforced errors from Pospisil, but he was able to recover from that early break and take control with 2 breaks of serves.
Reprise.
And in the end, winning that set in 40 minutes, 6-3. So first serve, point one. Look at that. Pospisil, 75% of point one on first serve. 14 winners to 9. Unforced errors. Just creeping up from R1 Roger-Vasselin in that opening set. Time now for the start of the second set. You're enjoying our day one coverage of the 2012 French Open from Roland Garros in sunny Paris here on the Tennis Channel. And the change of shirt. The Frenchman looking to perhaps change momentum, change things around in the second set. Currently 24 degrees, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The winner of this match today will take on either Juan Martín del Potro from Argentina, the 9th seed, or the Spaniard Albert Montañez. And those two underway in their first round match. And I'll bring you up to date with the score very soon. So del Potro, the 9th seed, who's taken the first set 6-2. Really targeting the backhand of Pospisil is Roger-Vasselin. He's had more success on that side. And Pospisil often just slicing the ball back into play, doesn't really use the backhand as a weapon, so to speak. So he holds, does the Frenchman, a vital hold at the start of the second set, having dropped his last two service games to lose that first set 6-3.
Well, so far, the story of this match has been missed opportunities on the part of the...
A couple of high-profile women already through to the second round. The 6th seed and former finalist Samantha Stosur of Australia over Elena Baltasha in straight sets. Also saw Svetlana Kuznetsova, the 2009 champion, easily advanced earlier today. Bright sunny afternoon, day one of the 2012 French Open. Pospisil certainly does have a big serve. He's able to generate a lot of power.
Right off the baseline, I think. Smart got 20 bounce.
Much better play from R1 Roger-Vasselin. Really getting great depth on his forehand, and the return just far too short from the Canadian. Swing point, big point here, 30 all.
First ever WTA title in Paris. Indoor event at Stade Coubertin, which is walking distance on the left-hand side. Paula, very much aware of the interesting forehand, but plays it to the left-hand side as well.
30-40.
Well, a little bit unlucky there. And break point goes begging. To be a missed approach here from the Canadian Vasek Pospisil. But able to get it back in play. And now serving Deuce. Love won the second set, having taken the first set 6-3. Another break point chance for the Frenchman. He broke Pospisil's serve in his opening game of the first set. Can he do it in the second? Reminder coming up later today, Venus Williams in action. Her opening match against an Argentine opponent. As Pospisil hits the forehand wide. And R1 Roger-Vasselin right back in the match now with the early break of serve in the second set, leading 2-0. That's one of the longer rallies of this match. And the unforced error from the Frenchman. Both players just content to trade ground strokes. They've also both at times shown a bit of willingness to move forward and dominate at the net. It's not often that the player who is losing the match has actually won the most points. And in this occasion, it's 42 points to Roger-Vasselin, and Pospisil winning just 25, but leading by a set. Well, it's just dropped in. Time up. Pospisil, an aggressive return, coming forward. Probably could have made a play at that. But, game point here for 3-love for R1 Roger-Vasselin. Both previous matches that these two have played at challenger level were won in straight sets, and 1 win apiece. Well, perhaps not the shot. Maybe he should leave that one in the bag. Pospisil. Roger-Vasselin has played the drop shot superbly, but that from Vasek Pospisil was not executed well at all. So game point here for the Frenchman for a 3-love lead. having to work hard to hold serve in this game and consolidate that break. So the forehand from Pospisil, it's his best shot. It's certainly where most of his winners are coming from. Set up by a nice backhand, and the short ball heavily topspin. Picks his racket back early and fires the winner. So a break point chance here to get back into this second set here for Vasek Pospisil of Canada. So Pospisil gets the break of serve with a double fault from Roger-Vasselin, and we're back on serve with the Frenchman Roger-Vasselin leading by 2-1 in the second set. It's a lovely spring day in Paris. A real hint of summer warmth in the air, though. Temperature approaching the mid-20s, high 70s Fahrenheit. And a good crowd in here on court number 2. Supporting one of 17 Frenchmen in the main draw. 6 of them in action today, including Joe Wilfred Songa, the 5th seed and the big French hope here. It's been a long drought for the Frenchman. Yannick Noah back in 1983, the last French male player to win the Roland Garros title and hold the Coupe de Mousquetaire aloft. Well, former champion Juan Carlos Ferrero also in action out on court Suzanne Longlong, and he's taken the first set in his match, 6-1. Juan Martín del Potro and Albert Montañez playing on court Philippe Chatrier, and it's Del Potro in control of that one, up by a set and a break, and he looks likely to progress and face the winner of this match out here on court number 2. At this stage, it is Vasek Pospisil who has the momentum again, although Eduard Roger-Vasselin with the lovely backhand return of serve winner down the line, but early breakdown and game points for 3-love did Roger-Vasselin, but Pospisil, as he did in the first set, has come back and looks like levelling it up at 2 games all. misses though, misses with that forehand. A little bit over eager to finish the point quickly. Roger-Vasselin has a striking resemblance to Novak Djokovic. His mannerisms, his style. But not the execution at the moment. And it is 2 games all. The break back and now levelling it up. Vasek Pospisil of Canada with a set. 2-2. The match just ticking over the hour mark. 1 hour and 3 minutes out on court. We've seen a number of momentum swings already in this match. The first set was Edouard Roger-Vasselin led by 3-1 before Vasek Pospisil fought back to take it 6-3. And he's come back from 2-love down in the second set. Can this man hang tough here and hold? And he's looking good here at 40-love. A much better service game. So it looks good when he goes forward, does Roger-Vasselin. Not really aggressive enough, though, for me throughout this match. That's a better game, though, holding to love. There was some real aggression on that play, too. So we're on serve in the second set. Edouard Roger-Vasselin of France leading Vasek Pospisil of Canada 3-2. Talk around the men's draw, the possibility of Novak Djokovic becoming just the 4th player to hold all 4 Grand Slam titles at the same time. Of course, the #1 seed, but not the tournament favourite. And that honour goes to Rafa Nadal, who looks back to his best on the red clay after dominating Djokovic in both Rome and also in Monte Carlo. Nadal also won Barcelona, so 3 clay court titles for him this springtime. And the favourite to notch up title #7 at Roland Garros. He would overtake the great Bjorn Borg, who's level with at the moment with 6. Don't discount Roger Federer. Be there or thereabouts, the Fed Express. But really, outside of those 3 names I just mentioned, it's hard to see somebody else breaking through. Maybe a guy like Del Potro perhaps could contend. Andy Murray not in the best of form. Unlikely to see him break that Grand Slam title drought here in Paris. So here on court 2, it's Vasek Pospisil to serve it. 2-3 on serve in the second set.
She's got game, this young lady.
Interesting there for Chipola just backing away from the baseline. They had to be straight.
0-15.
young Pospisil, just 21, and not too unlike his compatriot Milos Raonic. Of course, Raonic, though, super powerful, huge serve, but plays with a lot of aggression. And has served himself out of trouble on numerous occasions so far in this first round singles match. And that's the commentator's curse, a double fault, which allows the hint of an opening here for R1 Roger-Vasselin. 15:30. Well, Vasek Pospisil having a real meltdown in this game. Wow, 3 double faults. Where did that come from? And the break of serve goes the way of the Frenchman, who now leads 4 games to 2. Wow, I'd said that Vasek Pospisil had been serving pretty well. 3 double faults in a row, and just handed the game to R1 Roger-Vasselin. So the shank from R1 Roger-Vasselin hands the initiative back to Vasek Pospisil in this game. Clutch point, big point, and Pospisil looking at the line, but it was good. So 30 all, see it again. Kick serve out wide and then drilled down the line, right on the line. It's a nice court, this court too. Big crowd in it. It's very intimate. The fans are close to the action. Return off the backhand, too big from Pospisil, and Now a game point for a 5-2 lead as R1 Roger-Vasselin looks to get back into the match, having dropped the first set 6-3.
That's set point.
Well, a body shot right at the head of Pospisil. It was mistimed from Roger-Vasselin, and the result is it's a game point for 5-3 right at the head. Really should have made that volley. But slow to react.
Will be pretty happy to have got through that as easily as she did.
So he holds on to R1 Roger-Vasselin. He consolidates the break again, and now a game away from levelling this match at 1-all. He leads by 5 games to 2. So there's the winners and unforced error ratio, and pretty even Stevens for Pospisil, and just a few too many unforced errors coming off the record of his opponent. Up, R1 Roger-Vasselin looking good here to level it up at 1-all. So Pospisil then serving to stay in the second set. Making a pretty good start too. 3 double faults in his last service game, if you're just joining us, which handed the break of serve to Roger-Vasselin. Really has been a topsy-turvy kind of a match. The first set, Roger-Vasselin with the early break of serve led by 3-1 before Pospisil rattled off 5 straight games to take that opener in 40 minutes. In the second set, Roger-Vasselin led by 2-0, levelled at 2-all, and now he's out to 5-2. So after dropping his bundle in his last service game, Pospisil stays in the second set. He holds to love, but R1 Roger-Vasselin now with a chance to serve out the second set and level at 1-all. course, there is only the one break of serve. So Pospisil, after playing a much better game in that last game, will feel confident that he can get back into the set. Oh, that's better serving from Roger-Vasselin, the ace, and 2 points now from levelling this match at 1 set all. The crowd is built and just about full now here on court number 2. Great atmosphere. Well, he constructed that point well, did R1 Roger-Vasselin. And now set point. First set point for the Frenchman. Ace down the middle, 1 set all in this first round of singles match. Roger-Vasselin levels it up 6-3 the second set in 40 minutes, identical to the first set, which of course went the way of Vasek Pospisil of Canada. 1 hour and 20 minutes. And much better play from R1 Vasselin. And time for me now to take a break and hand over for the continuation of this match to Leif Shiras.
Reprise. Posez-moi, je service. Pospisil.
So welcome back, everyone. Leif Shiras here. Vasek Pospisil serving first in the third set. Yeah, that's where Roger-Vasselin has been able to sort of regain his place in this match. A little more aggressive play from the Frenchman and just a few more errors from the Canadian. He, despite his size and his best intention, has been really unable to play consistently aggressively enough When he gets it right, he can be a force. Beautifully warm conditions here in Paris today, and that has made the court very hard, very dry. So conditions a little quicker today, and the footing a little more slippery. Six feet 4 inches tall, Pospisil. So a good angle down into the box. Able to find that one out wide. As you can see, Pospisil is very capable, defending pretty well against some aggressive playing from Roger-Vasselin. Now that's a good start for the Canadian. And targeting that serve out wide. It's on this kind of surface, in these kinds of conditions, that serve out wide really sets you up pretty well. And not only is it difficult to defend that wide serve, but also to recover from a position from outside, well, the doubles line. Pospisil, 21 years of age. Roger-Vasselin, the vastly more experienced man. "28 years of age. I think that's where the difference might lie between these two. Roger-Vasselin just not as comfortable in the transition game. He's a little bit more comfortable moving along the baseline than he is making these transition plays. But a pretty solid all-around player. Yeah, this is a sloppy play from the Frenchman.
There it is. So the struggle in that second set, plenty of breaks of serve. Stanislas Wawrinka, 6-3, 6-3. This opening round men's singles match. Roland Garros is not to lose.
That was some good work there from Roger-Vasselin. It was a good high defensive lob.
40.
And right here, maybe the Canadian just guilty of not doing enough. He had some time on the ball. Yeah, that's a good aggressive play. And again, the first serve buys you a little bit of time, buys you some position. That's an impressive effort. From love 40 down, 5 straight points for the Frenchman. And it's one game all. Significant moments for Roger-Vasselin. Can he now capitalize here on the Pospisil serve early in the third? Because Roger-Vasselin, we mentioned, a little more experience. Third round of the French back in 07. Won around a couple years back, beating Kevin Anderson, the tall South African. Now Roger-Vasselin was able to take the second set. He's willing to trade from the back of the court, soak up some pressure, and wait for the Canadian to produce the error. So Pospisil will need to pull his game together, just tighten things up a bit. Yep, that's some fine defense. And the French crowd squarely behind their man here. Roger-Vasselin dealt with a deficit in his last service game. Let's see how the Canadian does here. And that's one of Pospisil's strengths, that first serve, and he's used it well here to regain the edge. Just a little bit over the baseline. I think Pospisil's asked our chair to just take a second look. Pretty convinced that it was long. So after playing his way out of trouble, he double faults his way back into it. Good aggressive return, and the Frenchman may not possess brilliant power, but he has good hands, and a good aggressive return there pays off. Able to break, and now he's got the edge in the third at 2-1. Pospisil had started off this match in such promising form. In fact, he was a little aggressive, playing off the returns, striking the ball cleanly, and was able to make an early impression, but he hasn't been able to do it consistently enough as we get into the second and the third sets. And instead, it's just been this consistent, quick action on the ball from the Frenchman that's been the difference. Ultimately, Roger-Vasselin just is a little more comfortable on this surface. He doesn't mind getting his socks dirty.
Up, please.
Well, a day like today, everyone needs a little nourishment, a little protection from the sun. Temperatures in the high 70s and not too much of a breeze, so it's hard work for the players today. The first day of play here at Roland Garros. Now that's some of his best hitting here early on. So I'm sure Roger-Vasselin will make a mental note to avoid that pattern of play. Try and find the Canadian's backhand as opposed to the center of the court. Yeah, just plenty of experience showing there because he had position and he had a good sense of where his opponent was. That was open to him and he took it. That's a good strike by Pospisil. Again, a good return, and that's the position you want to earn. Ball in the center of the court, position on the baseline. Just didn't give himself enough margin on the forehand. And again, not overpowering plays off that backhand wing, but again, good depth. Just an element of surprise as Pospisil was waiting on the cross court. Nice change of direction from the Frenchman. So Roger-Vasselin able to underline the break advantage and get to 3-1 here in the third set. Interesting to see the different roads that players take to get to this, the second major. Roger-Vasselin started his clay court preparation in Monte Carlo, lost in the qualies there. Direct entry into Barcelona, had a win over Stefan Robert, fellow Frenchman, before losing to Nicolas Almagro. From there, he traveled to Estoril, lost first round there. Madrid qualifying, lost to Stakowski in the second round. And then a Bordeaux challenger on clay in France, lost first round there. Before playing last week in Nice, where he won a round over another fellow Frenchman, Benoit Paar, one of these emerging youngsters. He lost to Almagro again there, after having played him just 3 weeks before in Barcelona. So he was able to play a number of ATP events in preparation for this Roland Garros. And by comparison, Pospisil played Madrid, Rome, and Nice qualifying, all of those, and lost his first match on each occasion in the qualifying. So he's had plenty of time in between matches to think about the struggles he's enduring on this surface. Yeah, and unforced errors are a tennis player's worst enemy. And for someone like Pospisil, who is an aggressive, more attacking player, maybe not as completely comfortable on this surface, boy, they start to just erode your confidence. Cannot afford a second break here. 30 all. So chances for Roger-Vasselin to get to 4-1. Now, did Roger-Vasselin get a generous call on the sideline? Looks like he might have caught an edge. So he's got the two-break advantage at 4-1 in the third set. And for a player like Vasek Pospisil, who has yet to really find his footing on the clay, you start off with great intentions, things seem to be going your way, but then, well, the adjustments across the net from your opponent, particularly someone so well versed on clay, doesn't allow you to do the things that you were doing early on. So a little bit of experience showing in this matchup as Roger-Vasselin has been putting more balls into play. He's a little more aggressive, not allowing Pospisil to get his front foot down comfortably, and that's really been the difference. Pospisil also unable to capitalize on those break points in this third set. Could look much different than the 1-4 deficit that the young Canadian sees. So Christophe Roger-Vasselin serving at 4 when his father played the tour for many of the years throughout the 80s. His father's name, Christophe. Of course, this is Edward Roger-Vasselin. Now, just a little too easy there. Now, if you're playing cross court from this position, it better be something special. Otherwise, you're surrendering a lot of real estate. Well, as easy as that. Roger-Vasselin now up 5-1. And what was looking as a fairly competitive matchup is suddenly starting to slip away from the Canadian. He's going to definitely have to think about what he's trying to do out here in order to hang on. Yeah, just getting a little ahead of that one. You get some tricky bounces out here when the courts are this dry, particularly on second serves that really do take the spin well. Pretty straightforward tennis there. Always seems to be on balance. So it's a good first serve to finish off the game for the Canadian, but it's the Frenchman Edward Roger-Vasselin, who's going to serve for the third set and a 2-1 advantage. So direct entry for both these players into the main draw here at the French Open, and both of them acquiring many of their ranking points from play on the Challenger circuit. And these guys both in that ranking area. Roger-Vasselin at 83. Pospisil just outside the top 100 at 102. You know, both these guys in a position where they can't get direct entry into Master Series events, but they can get into some of the 250s available to them. But many times players ranked from 80 to 120 are looking to sort of augment their ATP tennis with challenger events, and that's just what both of these guys have done this year. Roger-Vasselin 7-8 in ATP play, but he also played in 5 challengers, a couple of quarterfinals and a semifinal there. So he brings a fair amount of confidence based on success in a mix of ATP and challenger events into Roland Garros. Yeah, that's a nice strike. Again, Pospisil offering up a fairly flat ball, fairly central. Roger-Vasselin, you can see from this position, he's got options. And again, when you have pace coming at you and it's fairly straight ahead, boy, he's got time on the ball there. And you can't allow your opponent to get on the front foot if you're offering up that much pace to him. That was a nice serve and volley play, wasn't it? He earned the high volley, just missed it wide, so he still has a couple set points to work with. So Edward Roger-Vasselin takes the third set. And the veteran, the Frenchman, takes a 2-1 lead. Look at some of the highlights from the third set. And again, just a little more comfort on display from the Frenchman. Again, never really overplaying the ball and seemingly making good decisions on the court based on where he is in the court, where his opponent is. And again, defending that space so perfectly, putting himself right in the middle of the battle. You can see Roger-Vasselin just a little more tighty, wasn't he? 7 winners, 7 unforced errors, and for Pospisil, you can see the unforced errors really piling up, and that was the difference. And what opportunities he had to stay close in that set, he was unable to capitalize on. 3 break points going awry. And you get the sense for the Canadian, if he's going to stay in this match and perhaps win the 4th set, he's going to get a higher percentage of first serves in, because he cannot offer up that many breaks of serve. So the Canadian Vasek Pospisil will start serving in the 4th. So essential for the Canadian to get off to a good start in this match. He's not out of it by any means, but he cannot offer up as much charity as he did in that last set. Does he have it in his legs? Does he have it in his head? Does he have it in his heart to stay in this one and battle? Well, perhaps he can take a lesson from his opponent across the net, who, after having lost the opening set, Roger-Vasselin did not panic. Just tightened up his game a little bit, adjusted to the pace and the delivery of what the Canadian was delivering, and just improved his level of play, something the Canadian can try and do here. That's good attacking tennis. Things were getting a little tense there, having lost consecutive points, but able to finish it off there. Of course, Pospisil, like his countryman Frank Dancevic, suddenly playing in the shadow of Milos Raonic, the young Canadian who has emerged as a real star, a player who has got the label of future top tenor all about him with his success, his number of titles that he's won. But it certainly makes for interesting possibilities in the Canadian Davis Cup side. In fact, they played France at a home tie. Pospisil a part of that one, losing to Joe Wilfred Songa in straight sets, and also a dead rubber loss to Gael Monfils. But it's a very interesting Canadian Davis Cup squad now with Milos Raonic, who is such a dangerous player, ranked inside the top 20. course, for Roger-Vasselin, he's one of 17 Frenchmen in the main draw here at Roland Garros. Some nice depth there on that backhand, right in the corner. So a couple hours in. And for someone who's untrained on a clay court, these are the trickiest conditions. Because if this court were a little more damp, you have a little more footing. But when it is this dry, when it is this dusty, boy, it is slippery. And you can see Pospisil struggling mightily. And you can see the combinations and the talent as a result that Pospisil does possess. It was a heck of a return off the two-hander. And then he just uncoiled on a forehand. And that's why hopes are so high in Canada for the future of this kid. He's got some skills. Yep, that time unable to convert. So the Frenchman on the board in the fourth set. Of course, this match from the top half of the men's draw. Potential meeting for the winner with Juan Martín del Potro of Argentina, the number 9 seed. As we mentioned, Frank Dancevich, he's also in the main draw here out of Canada. He's taking on Martin Klizan of Slovakia. And Milos Raonic, the Canadian, he's taking on the Spaniard, Ruben Ramirez Hidalgo. And you can really see the clay court ethic on display here. As Roger-Vasselin, he's willing to just to put the ball into play. He just hit a lot of good shots. They don't have to be great shots. And his patience is rewarded with an unforced error. I mean, that's really at the heart of what clay court tennis is all about. Use your legs, use your brain. Just be patient and wait for your chances and see if you can get inside your opponent's head. Well, he put himself in a wonderful position, the Canadian. But the volley lets him down. Now that drop shot combination has been working so beautifully for Roger-Vasselin, as Pospisil unable to read it, unable to do much with it when he did get there. So the Frenchman has a break in the fourth, and really he's looking on his way. Edward Roger-Vasselin on the right there, one of 17 Frenchmen looking to become the first, well, homegrown champion, I guess you'd say, since Yannick Noah back in 1983. Of course, what's interesting about Yannick Noah's victory in '83, it was Edward's father, Christophe, who really was instrumental in Noah winning the title, because Christophe Roger-Vasselin beat Jimmy Connors in '73, and then Noah was able to beat Roger-Vasselin before beating Mats Wilander in the championship match. So really that was a big moment, because I'm not sure how Yannick would have done against Jimmy Connors, a match that Connors would most likely have prevailed in. So it was a big moment for French tennis, and Edward's father was a big part of it. Of course, the last Frenchman to reach a Grand Slam final would be Jo-Wilfried Tsonga at the 2008 Australian Open. Nearly pulled off a brilliant play, but again, credit Roger-Vasselin with his ability to move around this court so efficiently, because that's a good volley there. No problems, though, for the Frenchman. Yeah, and this is looking like an improved Frenchman who's, after losing that set, again, on a tennis court, you're always looking to improve your level of play, and he's done just that. He's tightened up his ground strokes, serving better, doing everything a little bit better as he's really taken stock of his opponent and what he needs to do. And in this case, it's not really much more than just defend your side of the court and take your chances when they're available to him. He's really done a nice job of just being present every point and making it count. And that hasn't been something that Pospisil has handled too well today. Up and down in his performance, and obviously not completely comfortable on this surface. But hopefully an experience that, you know, he can learn from. I think this matchup also speaks to some degree about how tough it is for young players to break in on the men's side. Pospisil, 21 years of age, and you can still feel that he's not completely physically developed as a mature athlete. He had plenty of room to hit into, but you sense that, I think, in the top 100, the average age is up 25, 26 years now, and it just seemed there's a level of fitness and athleticism where you need to be. And Pospisil has yet to reach that point. He certainly has some good skills. He's tall, strong, good serve. But at least on this surface, you feel as if, you know, he's got plenty of work ahead of him. So a good fight in that game for the Canadian, as he's able to hang on to his serve, but he's still down a break here in the fourth, down 2-1. So a nice crowd has really settled in here on court 2 at Roland Garros. A sunny afternoon, temperatures in the high 70s. It's a perfect day for tennis as the sun is high in the sky, not too many clouds. And the conditions are playing fairly, well, I want to say quick, because you can see the court is pretty dry. And you would think that would be an advantage for the Canadian, Vasek Pospisil, but it really hasn't worked out that way, as Edward Roger-Vasselin has played some very consistent and heady tennis, building this 2-set-to-1 lead. Whenever these two men have been up at the net together, which doesn't happen too often on a clay court, every point has gone to the Frenchman. Just a little more agile, a little bit better with his hands up there in the front court.
15.
Wasn't a bad point from Pospisil, but Roger-Vasselin did a nice job getting the ball out of the Canadian strike zone here, because he's in a bit of trouble having to retreat. That's a good ball. But again, he didn't really fill up the space as quickly and as efficiently as he could. Reacting just a little late.
Roger-Vasselin. Roger-Vasselin médaille 4, jeux à 2 qui tirent manche.
Yeah, his steady progress continues, as Pospisil has failed to make an impression since that opening set. In fact, Roger-Vasselin was up 2-love in the second. The Frenchman double faulted to surrender the break back, and then broke right again, 3-1. So the Canadians missed out on a couple of opportunities to sort of build momentum and make good things happen. Yeah, and that's something that Pospisil was doing to the Frenchman early on. Aggressive returning.
15-30.
Faster conditions, and you can take advantage of that second ball if you can see it and time it right. So here's 15-30, the Frenchman trying to close the gap to the finish line. I just wonder whether the Canadian hasn't done enough of this. I mean, he's got a good serve, not a bad volley. And I think his willingness to stay in the backcourt too long has hurt him a little bit, particularly off the serve. Now that's a nice play to get back to deuce there. I mean, remember, if he can hang on to this game, he's still in there with a swing. Big striker of the ball. He can apply sorts of pressure. He can just get one good return game, but he's got to protect his serve here. Otherwise, his chances shrink dramatically.
Roger-Vasselin.
Well, he does everything right, doesn't he? I mean, this is a good tennis point. He's pushing his man all over the court. All he needs is a little bit of touch. And this is the kind of volley you can't miss in the net. All you need to do is produce some angle. And then you've got the point one. Instead, break point to get to 5-2. Yep, he's got it. And this one is looking like it's nearly in the bag for Edward Roger-Vasselin. 5-2 up in the fourth. We mentioned that Edward Roger-Vasselin has been to the third round of the French Open before. That was way back in 2007. Had a win over Radek Stepanek before losing to Juan Monaco, as well as that win over Kevin Anderson in 2010. So this is his third French Open. Interesting to note that Arnaud Clément, the Frenchman, making his 15th Roland Garros appearance, and it will be his last, as he'll be retiring at the end of the year. Michael Laudrup, another Frenchman, he's played Roland Garros 13 times. Of course, the player who has played the most French Opens, 2009, the Frenchman Fabrice Santoro, the magician, equaling Francois Joffret's record of 20 Roland Garros appearances. So here's Edward Roger-Vasselin serving for a spot in the second round.
15-0.
He does a lot of good things on the tennis court.
30.
He really understands the things he needs to do at a certain point in the rally. He didn't try to come all the way in. He just improved his position. He got something up high that he could swing, drive, volley, and that's impressive tennis. He's done a lot of good things today. It's a deserving winner, a couple points away.
Merci.
I don't need to tell you, it's match point. The French crowd's enjoying this one. Yeah, this is umpire Allison Lang. She's going to confirm that it was long just to make sure everything's copacetic. A couple more chances for Edward.
45. 40.
Well, can you believe it? 3 match points disappear.
Avantage. Pospisil.
A little bit hard to believe, isn't it? A double fault. And Pospisil a chance to stay alive. Looks like you might get a letter from the governor. Stay alive just a little bit longer.
Égalité.
Well, maybe not that much longer as Roger-Vasselin turns on the forehand.
Avantage. Roger-Vasselin. Merci. Égalité.
Looks like that one caught the edge of the line.
Avantage. Roger-Vasselin.
So let's see if the 5th time is a charm. It is the Frenchman into the second round. 4 sets over Vasek Pospisil.
6-3, 6-2, 6-2.
Yeah, but very solid win for Edward Roger-Vasselin, the Frenchman, looking infinitely more comfortable on this red clay court than his opponent today. And he played well enough. He recovered from a set down and then really did a nice job protecting his serve. In fact, after splitting the first 2 sets, did not lose his serve again. He was able to break the the Canadian pretty comfortably. So it was in the end, a fairly routine day. Pospisil, 21 years of age. Well, he took another step in his sort of education as a tennis player. About the challenges that are clay court tennis, particularly here on a very sort of slippery and fast clay court at Roland Garros. So it took him 5 match points, but in the end, he gets it done. And some numbers from the match. 4 sets of tennis. Again, pretty impressive stuff from the Frenchman. 33 winners, 42 unforced. Sort of a nice balance of play. And it seemed like when he did come into the net, he came in at the right times. And you can't always say that of Pospisil, although you feel the youngster has a few technical things that he can work on, particularly on his volley, to improve his ability to transition and win when he is up in the front court. So as we mentioned, this action coming from the top half of the men's draw. Roger-Vasselin awaits the winner of one, Martín Del Potro, and Albert Montañez, the Spaniard. Of course, Del Potro, the number 9 seed out of Argentina, is on the schedule today, Sunday, here at Roland Garros.